So far, we've looked at adding resources to your course, which enables students to find things to read, videos to watch, or sound clips to listen to. But what we really want to do is to find some activities or tasks for our students actually to do. And so in the next series of videos, we're going to be looking at a variety of different activities that you can add to your course. And the first one, the most simplest one of these that we're going to look at in this video, is the assignment. So let's go back to our unit starting to build your course. And you can see the four resources that we added in the last video are still there. We're going to leave them there for now. I'll delete those later on. But we're going to look at now how to add an assignment. And again, we go to add an activity or a resource. And all of these top items on the list are all different types of activities. And we're going to look at the assignment. And if you look at this short description, it tells you how this can be done. They can add digital content in files. You can require students to type directly into the editor. And the third one is an offline assignment where you just have the actual assignment written out and they have to hand it in outside of the learning management system. And that could be an actual physical paper that they pass in, or it could be a file that they email to you at some other time. So let's just look at how these things are created. And note that to create any of those three types of assignments, we click the same activity in Moodle. So let's add that and see what happens. And you see when you get to the base screen, it looks exactly the same as it does for the resources. So all resources and activities have this same base screen. At least the top of it is the same. So this assignment I'm going to call adding work to your course. And so in this assignment, and where it says description, you want to actually say to the students what you want them to do. So I'm going to put, for this assignment, you will explain to me how to add resources to your class so that the students know what they are without having Okay, good. So that's the assignment. And I'm not going to add it I'm not going to display the description. I'm just going to put the assignment there. Note that this is another section that has been added for the actual assignment activity. And note that it asks an open date, that is, you can start to submit from a certain date, and then it also has a closing date, that is, you can make the assignment due by this date. Notice it also has a cutoff date. That means that if you put this date on and you normally put it past the due date, it will say that they can hand it in late up to a certain date. Okay, so submission types. So this is how we determine whether you're going to have online text, file submissions, or just an offline submission altogether. So I'm going to click online text here and take that off. And notice that since I've done that, all of these things are grayed out because these two refer to if I'm going to have students upload a file. Now I'm going to input a word limit. I'm going to let it be 100 words. And so I'm going to add that to the description. Please limit your answer to 100 words or less. Good. So let's look at some of these other things. You can also feed back stuff right into the assignment, depending on how you want to use this, the types of feedback. You could put comment in line, and that would actually allow you to comment directly onto the document, or it will just send a separate feedback file with the comments that you put on for that particular assignment. Submission settings require them to click the submit button. I'm going to say no, just because so many students, in my experience, they will do the assignment and forget to click the submit button and then write an email to me, did you get your assignment? No, I didn't get it. And come to find out that they never actually clicked submit at the bottom. So that's why I normally leave it off. Require that students accept the submission statement. Now I strongly advise you put this and click this yes. And what it is basically an honor code statement that appears requiring the students to say, this is my work. I pledge that this is my work, or whatever the case might be. It gives them a little kind of moral nudge to help guide them to not cheat or not plagiarize. Attempts reopened. Now this is if you want to have more than one opportunity for students to actually submit the assignment. If you put manually, you can give them as many number of attempts as you want. Also, automatically until pass, you can give them up to a certain number of attempts again. I'm going to put never because this is a fairly straightforward assignment. They don't need to have more than one. Group submission settings, we're not using groups, so I'm not going to click that. And we'll talk about that a little later. That's a little more advanced. Notifications, this is just to let the people who are going to be grading these know when a paper has been submitted. And so if you click that yes, they'll get sent a message saying, these students have passed that assignment in. Notify graders about late submissions, similar thing. And the default for notified students is yes. That means when the grader submits the grade, then the student gets a message saying, this thing has actually been graded. Visibility, again, we said we're not going to use groups. Restrict access, you have that same situation again, where you have all of these potential things for restricting access. And finally, activity completion. This is one that's slightly different, because if we actually put the conditions in, you can add a variety of different conditions, not just they must view or they must submit the activity, but also this one where they must actually receive a grade. So we can add those in as well. I'm just going to put students can mark the act. Actually, no, you know what? I'm going to put that they must submit. And I'm going to leave the expected date on there. And instead of going back to the course, I'm just going to go to save and display so you can see what it looks like. Now, this is what I see, and it's basically a summary for the whole class. But what I wanted to do is show you how it looks for the students. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and use the switch role button. Now this is a very useful switch role selection. This is a very useful tool because it allows you to see the course, the assignment, any part of the screen in a different role. And so I want to change from the teacher or administrator role, and I want to see how it's going to look like as a student. So I click on that, and you see the list of all the possible roles you could sign in as. I'm going to click as a student, and you'll see this is what a student sees when they go to the course. And then in order to do the assignment, they just click add submission. Notice this assignment is my own work thing comes up. They would have to click that in order to do it, and then they can just type their assignment right into the block. and once they hit Save Changes, it automatically gets submitted. Remember, we said we weren't going to include the Submit button. So that's the online text assignment. Now, I'm going to cancel that because I don't want to submit that. If we go back to the course, you'll see that it appears adding work to your course. Now, quickly, I'm just going to show you two of the others. Let me just go click here so I can easily copy the text when I am showing you the other two types of assignment. And I'm going to do that really quickly because everything else is the same. The only difference is you just click the different button. So again, I need to, well, first of all, I need to switch back to my normal role. So I click that there. Note that when you switch your role, editing is always turned off. So I'm going to have to turn the editing back on. And then go back down to add an activity. I'm then going to add an assignment again. Add, and I'm going to call this again, add an assignment to your course dash, and I'm going to call it a file because for this one, it's going to be a file upgrade, a file upload. And so I'm going to just copy paste that stuff that I copied from the last one. I'm not going to really worry about it. Well, you know what? I'm going to disable the dates so that you can use at any time. And file submissions is checked. And I'm going to leave everything else the same. And save and display. And again, I will switch to the student role so that you can see how it looks for the student. Again, looks exactly the same, but this time when I submit add submission, instead of a text box where I can put the stuff into, I'd have to drag and drop a file here and then click on Save Changes. So that's the assignment where you upload a file. And finally, we'll go back, and so you can see it down here on the screen the same way. Switch my role back to the administrator. And again, have to turn back on editing. And the final type of assignment that I'm going to show you is the one where it's actually an offline assignment, an offline upload. So I added again. Same title, only thing I'm going to put offline in it, copy that data, and I am going to take off these date things, and then I'm just going to put in here, I'm going to unclick that. So leave everything else the same. I'm going to just go straight to save and display so you can see what it looks like, and switch the role to student so you can see what it looks like for a student. And you'll see that it's exactly the same thing again, but instead of a button to either input text directly or a button to upload a file, nothing is there because this thing is going to be handed in offline, either by a physical assignment being passed to the teacher or by something being sent by email in some other form. So that's the assignment, and now you're able to add an assignment to your course. Remember, there are three types of assignment that you can put in: online text, file upload, and an offline assignment. Hope this helps, and I'm looking forward to see you using these in your courses.